Welcome back to Dateline on ID. Picking up our story, the Dream House Mystery. Here again is Josh Mankiewicz.
Beautiful Victoria, British Columbia, was suddenly witness to an outpouring of love and sadness few had ever seen.
Friends hug each other outside as hundreds gather inside to remember 24-year-old Lindsay Buziak.
1 week after realtor Lindsay Buziak was murdered at an empty $1 million home she was showing to 2 new buyers, Lindsay's friends and family said goodbye. So many were at a loss to explain who might have been responsible for Lindsay's death. Her father, Jeff.
She was a spectacular young woman. You would want to be part of her life. You would want to be her friend. How could you possibly think you'd want her dead?
The task of unraveling the mystery fell to police in Saanich, a Victoria suburb that averages about 1 murder a year.
It shocked the community, shocked the officers that were investigating it.
Inspector Rob McCall led the investigation, backed by a team that included Detective Sergeant Chris Horsley. They began by reconstructing the last hours of Lindsay's life, and the bulk of the clues came from her boyfriend, Jason Zalo. He told police the couple had lunched together at this restaurant. Then they split up, Lindsay over to the house she was going to show those eager buyers, Jason to take a contract to this auto detailing shop before meeting Lindsay at the house to drop off some papers.
And so I said, I'll come meet you. I'll be, 10, 15 minutes or so. And I started driving. And then that's when she said to me, okay, I'll see you in a bit. I gotta go. The Mexicans are here.
The Mexicans was Lindsay's shorthand name for the clients who spoke with a strange accent. While Lindsay was meeting the couple, this surveillance tape shows Jason and a friend hopping into Jason's Range Rover at 5:30 p.m. to head for the house. At 5:38 p.m., police say Jason sent Lindsay a text.
The last text that Jason said was just a couple of minutes away. That text was never opened by Lindsay.
Then at 5:41 p.m., just 3 minutes after Jason sent that final text,
Lindsay's BlackBerry made a phone call out, and we believe that phone call was made as a result of the attack.
That was buttons on her BlackBerry inadvertently being pressed during the attack?
Exactly. It was truly a pocket dial because the BlackBerry was in her pocket.
Police believe Lindsay was murdered during that 3-minute time span between 5:38 and 5:41 p.m. Jason drove up minutes later, around 5:45. From his front seat, he says he saw something through the front door of the house.
It's like kind of smoke glass, and I saw a few people in the front entranceway.
You saw, what, outlines of people through the glass?
Yes, yeah.
You couldn't tell how many people?
I would say 2.
Outside, Jason Zalo said he did not want to appear to be the meddling boyfriend, so he pulled out of the cul-de-sac and onto the main road to wait. But after 10 minutes or so, he says, he got a feeling something was wrong.
When I texted her, are you okay? And I didn't get a text back. That's what really worried me.
Jason walked to the front door. Through the window, he saw this, Lindsay's shoes lying in the foyer. Standard procedure for a realtor showing a house. But then Jason checked the door and found it locked. It was 6:05 p.m.
I called 911 to say that my girlfriend's in the house and it's locked and I can't get in, and she's, showing people houses. In a panic mode, I just told them the address of the house and, come, I'm gonna get in the house or break in the house or something like that to open it up.
Jason boosted his friend over this fence onto the side patio. The friend found an open door, then let in Jason, who found Lindsay's body in an upstairs bedroom. Another 911 call came in at 6:11 p.m.
She was just lying on her back, not moving, nothing. So I went straight to her, tried to give her CPR. I felt her skin. It was, she was already passed away.
What were you thinking?
Absolute shock. I remember the police were on the phone, and I kept yelling at them, saying, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, even though in my mind I already knew that she was passed away.
And in that terrible moment, Jason realized that those figures he'd seen through the smoked glass of the front door were probably Lindsay's killers. But where had they gone? Canine units were deployed, but found no sign of the killers. They'd apparently escaped on foot. At the crime scene, police found Lindsay Buziak dead from dozens of viciously inflicted stab wounds, most to the head and chest. No knife was left, but all the wounds appear to have been inflicted by one person. The first thought for a crime at $1 million home, robbery. But nothing was taken. Lindsay's purse, watch, wallet, and her money were all left at the scene. Investigators also considered sexual assault as a motive, but an autopsy found no sign of it. Crime scene investigators found almost nothing in the way of fingerprints, DNA, and other physical evidence to work with. Every room in the house was empty, and they'd been cleaned just before the showing. But as police blanketed the neighborhood after the murder, they did turn up more than one witness who provided key information. They had seen, in the fading sunlight of a February Saturday, Lindsay greeting the man and woman as they arrived at the home around 5:30 p.m.
The witnesses are quite firm in that it appeared to be a meeting, a shaking of the hands, so we're quite satisfied that the people that showed up were not known to Lindsay.
Lindsay had been killed, it appeared, by strangers. Police concluded it had to be the couple that had set up the showing and had lured Lindsay to the scene of her own murder. One witness was able to help police with a composite sketch of the female seen meeting Lindsay. She's described as white, 35 to 40 years old, with short blonde hair. She was also, the witness said, wearing a colorful dress of white, black, and either red or pink, with a distinctive pattern. And more clues to the identities of the killers came from Lindsay's BlackBerry. Stored there, the phone number for the Mexicans. Detectives traced the phone the killers used to contact Lindsay. It was a cell phone purchased between 3 and 6 weeks before the murder at a Vancouver convenience store. Surveillance tape of the sale?
Gone. And unfortunately, the phone is pay to talk. There's no registration other than quickly banging a name in online and your phone's up and running.
And while the killers bought the phone weeks earlier, they activated it via the internet less than 48 hours before the murder, making their movements difficult to trace. The phone was registered under the name Paulo Rodriguez.
The name appears to be fictitious. The address that the phone was registered also appears to be unrelated. It is an actual address, but it's a business in Vancouver.
And Vancouver is from where the first calls to Lindsay were made, confirmed by hits on cell towers in the city. Police say perhaps half a dozen calls were made to Lindsay. And after the murder, the cell phone was never used again. You're describing killers who are incredibly disciplined and are either very good or just very lucky.
Yeah, very much so. And we're not sure which one.
They may or may not have known Lindsay, but certainly they knew how to carry out a terrible crime and then cover their tracks. Could they be professionals? Had someone sent them? Was there more to Lindsay's life than met the eye? Detectives began by focusing on those closest to Lindsay.
Coming up, the boyfriend and the ex. Could it have been one of them?
I've never seen a tear drop out of his eye.
Police return to the scene of the crime for a dramatic reenactment, and Dateline's Unsolved Case Squad goes to work.
I think someone got paid to go commit that murder.
When the Dream House Mystery continues.